Hi everyone, welcome into another episode of Matt Sports Talk, and in this video we are going to be recapping all of the second round games, and we're just going to be doing the men's ones in these videos. I'm not going to spend as much time recapping pardon me, these games as what I did yesterday for the women, just because the women there's a lot more to talk about, so I'm just going to go over this briefly for the men. And before I do, I want to say that for those of you that have recently subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for doing so. I really appreciate that. And please keep on subscribing here on YouTube so you do not miss out on any of this important content, as we're in the heat of the national tournament. The Sweet 16 is coming up on Thursday for both the men and the women, and I will be recapping those rounds for those Crossroads League schools that are in the hunt. And I am also going to be talking about I'm going to be showing you or going over my updated bracket after each individual round as well. So please make sure that if you have not already subscribed, that you please do so down below so you do not miss out on any of that important content. And I am 10 subscribers away from hitting 200, and that is my goal. That is my goal, to hit that on the day of the national championship, which will be coming up next Tuesday. So please, let's hit that goal of 200 by next Tuesday. And that would just be absolutely amazing. It would mean so much to me to hit that milestone of 200 subscribers. And obviously my goal is to hit 500 before we get into, and I know there must be a wreck or something going on outside because there's a ton of sirens. So if you can hear that in the video, I apologize. But I will say that going into next season, or by the start of next season in conference play, which will be, I believe, November 18th, I want to say, my goal is to hit 500 subscribers by then. So even though my final episode I have planned will be the end of, not next week, but the end of the following week after the national championship game, even though that will be my final episode, and there must be something going on out there because there is a ton of sirens, but that is my goal, is to hit 500 subscribers by that point, be going into next November for next season. So again, make sure that you stay tuned for that. And obviously, I know that it's interesting, not really interesting, but obviously, I truly appreciate all the support and your support. I truly appreciate here on my YouTube channel. It means so much to me for you taking the time to not only subscribe, but also to watch all of these videos. And I cannot wait for really over the next 10 days of a national tournament. Super excited about that. But I'm also excited about my final episode planned. I believe it should be, of course, I'll probably be doing that around March 27th, March 28th, somewhere in there will be my final episode of this season. But please do not stop subscribing before the end of the season. Just please keep on subscribing in the off season as well, through the spring and the summer months, as I will be I'll be starting season 3 officially either late August or early September, doing my preseason predictions of where I think all the Crossroads League schools for both the men and the women are going to finish. So make sure that you stay tuned for that, and that you are subscribed to my channel by that time so you do not miss out on that. I'm super excited for next year being able to, again, be able to recap all of the Crossroads League games for men and the women, as well as all the national tournament stuff and what I've done this year for the national tournament with writing down general seed lines. And I think all the teams will be on. I definitely plan on doing that next year for the national tournament, and I'm super excited about that. And I also will say that of course it's up in the air right now, but I am really hoping to go out to Sioux City, Iowa next year if Indiana Wesleyan advances out there next year. And I plan on, if that happens, I plan on being out there during the duration of the tournament, depending on how far the Lady Wildcats go next year. Again, that's still a year away. We still got to finish this season, obviously, but I did want to tell you that ahead of time, that I definitely plan on, at least right now, I have that planned for my episodes next year, at least during, roughly at this time next year, going into that week, I plan on doing my episodes on the road. Obviously, out in Sioux City again. That's not a guarantee right now. We'll have to wait and see how next year plays out. But if the Lady Wildcats have another great year and they advance out to Sioux City next year, I definitely plan on being out there. And again, I'll be giving updates here, sharing updates here on YouTube with these videos the closer we get to that time. Once we get really deep into next season, when we see how Indiana Wesleyan's playing, where all their RPI, ARC, quad records are where they're roughly what seed line do we think will be on. Again, that's still a year away, but we're definitely not focused on that right now. But I definitely wanted to let you know ahead of time because of course I'm a planner, so I like to plan things out, so that those are some future episodes for the national tournament next year for season 3 of Matt Sports Talk that I have planned right now. And of course I definitely will be planning over the spring and summer months. I'll be planning on what content I want to share, not just recaps, but I also would love the opportunity to do some coaches and player interviews next year. Again, I don't know if I'll be able to do that or not. I'll have to plan that out, and and maybe maybe send some emails to coaches around the league, around the Crossroads League, and not just mainly in the Crossroads League, because that's the league I follow the most. So I definitely want to do some player and coaches interviews, going into next season, especially talking about recapping this, or briefly going recapping, not really recapping, but talking with them about about this current season. And and again, I wouldn't be doing that until early next season, late summer into early fall. Of course, again, I'll have to wait and see how all that plays out, when I'll be able to do that. At least that's when I hope to be uploading episodes talking all about that at that time. So again, make sure that you stay tuned for that. And of course, that's something that I've wanted to do since I started doing these videos with interviewing coaches and players from around the league. So again, I would love to do that next year, and kind of do like a season preview, so to speak, of every, maybe not out of every Crossroads League school, but at least those that made the national tournament. I would love to do some player and coaches interviews, talking with them about, previewing what to expect for them as we head into next season, and then also briefly talking about, this season, how well do they think that their team did, and how that momentum can carry over into next year, at least for some of those teams that did not make it quite as far in national tournament. I would love to do that. So again, I definitely will plan on, reaching out to some of those, coaches and players, over the next couple of weeks probably, and maybe planning that, to record those interviews, maybe around, late August into early September, and kind of doing like a season preview that way. So again, I would love to do that, and I'll be planning that out, reaching out to those coaches and players again, not right now, but over the next I'd say probably as we head into early April, reaching out at that time, once this season's officially over, giving everybody a chance to catch their breath and kind of and get back on their feet, so to speak. So that's when I plan on doing that. So I'm super excited about that. So recapping the men's games from last night, number 1 seed Grace beat Southeastern 91-75, and Southeastern shot 35 from the field, 40 from 3, 66 of the line, so they kind of struggled in that category. Grace, on the other hand, 55 from the field, 54 from 3, which was excellent. They were way better at the free throw line, converting 18 out of 23 for 78. And I'll just allude to the numbers for the Crossroads schools in terms of scoring. 19 points for Gage Sefton, 10 rebounds, with a double-double for him. 5 of 7 shooting, 5 of 6 that was from beyond the arc. 4 of 4 at the charity stripe, with 2 assists as well. 12 points for Tyler Rouse, 5 of 8 shooting, 2 of 2 at the line, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 6 blocks. So really good to see that. 14 points for Hunter Walston, 5 of 10 shooting, 4 of 8 of that was from beyond the arc. 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Really good balanced numbers there. 15 points for Ian Rouse, 5 of 11 shooting, 1 of 2 from deep, 4 of 6 of the line, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 block. And 13 points for Grady Carpenter, 4 of 6 shooting, 2 of 4 from deep, 3 of 4 at the line, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, and 1 steal. And then off the bench, Michael Wellman with 4 points, 2 of 3 shooting, And then you had Cannon Hauser with 7 points, 4 of 4 at the charity stripe, 3 assists, and 1 rebound to go along with that. And 7 points for Gavin Benton, 3 of 7 shooting, 1 of 3 at the line, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. And that was your matchup there. The next matchup will take us to Georgetown, Kentucky, where Bethel played Georgetown, and Georgetown, the winners here, 85-68. The Bethel Pilots end their year at 24-8. And leading the way for them was Austin Kripe with 29 points, 9 of 20 from the floor, 6 of 10 from deep. It's really, really good to see that. 5 of 6 at the line, 5 rebounds, 2 assists for him. 8 points for Alonis Pasilius. He struggled shooting at just 2 of 11, but he had 7 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 block, though. And then Luke McBride only with 2 points. That was at a charity stripe, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. 15 points for Bo Jacque, 4 of 10 shooting, 7 of 9 at the line. He had 10 rebounds, so a double-double for him. And then 5 points for Colin Comer with 3 rebounds and off the bench. Obviously, a lot of players got playing time because it was their last game of their season. 2 points for Mason Bales, which was at the free throw line, 1 rebound. 1 point for Jameer Jefferson with 3 rebounds. Carter Kent did not score. Andrew Hedrick, 6 points with 2 rebounds, 1 assist. And then other players that got some playing time at the national level but had no statistics. Alex Johnson, Sam Wellman, Wes Ward, Costa Grubor, and Alex Ellenson got some playing time. And Wes Ward, of course, is a freshman on the Bethel Pilots team. So, again, great to see him getting some playing time in his rookie season with the Pilots out of Mishawaka. And that's just absolutely awesome to see that. And that was your matchup there. And the final matchup takes us to Lucky Arena in Marion, Indiana, where 2-seeded Indiana Wesleyan face off against 10-seeded Dalton State, the Roadrunners out of Georgia, and the Wildcats prevailing here 89-70. They punched their ticket to the Sweet 16 in Kansas City, Missouri. So really, really good to see that. And for the Wildcats, they had some really, really good scoring all the way around. You had 28 points for Cademan Bontrager, 28 points for him. He was 10 of 20 shooting, 7 of 9 at the line, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, and a block for him. 7 points for Jake Smith, 2 of 3 shooting, 1 of 1 from deep, 2 of 2 at the line, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. 9 points for Isaac Andrews, 3 of 7 shooting, 3 of 4 from deep, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals for him. 10 points for Julius Gizzi, 4 of 7 shooting, 2 of 2 at the line with 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. 6 points for DJ Moore and 10 assists. Really, really good to see that. He also had 3 rebounds and 3 steals. And then off the bench, Matthew Brown, 2 minutes of action, had an assist. Connor Hassan, 1 minute of action, did not score. Noah Reed, 2 minutes of action, had 3 points, 1-1 shooting, 1 of 2 at the line. Miller McCartney did not score, but he had 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. Crew Gibson with 6 points, 2 of 4 shooting, 2 of 2 at the line with 2 assists, 1 block, and 1 rebound. Kevin Sakis with 6 points and 8 minutes of action, 3 of 4 shooting, 4 rebounds. And Marcus Ankney, 14 points, 6 of 10 shooting, 2 of 3 from deep, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 1 blocks. Really, really good to see that. And the Wildcats shot 51 from the field, 53 from deep. So really, really good numbers there. And they were decent at the free throw line, converting 18 out of 24 for 75. And that was your matchup there. And that concludes recapping the games on the men's side. So looking at the updated standings, Grace heads to Kansas City, 30-3. The Wildcats of Indiana Wesleyan head to Missouri, 28-5. The Bethel Pilots go back to Mishawaka, ending their year at 24-8. Huntington, of course, ended their year Friday night at 22-9, and Taylor ended their year Friday night as well at 19-11. So that is a view of the updated standings as those teams head in to the national tournament. So we will recap on the women's side next. Actually, boy, we had a lot of games on the women's side to recap from last night, so that's going to take quite a bit of time to do. So again, make sure that you stay tuned for that. If you did enjoy this video or find it very helpful and informative, please either like, comment, or subscribe. Any one of those options helps me out greatly. I truly appreciate any feedback that you may provide me. Thanks so much for tuning into this video, and I will see you momentarily with the next one. God bless.